You know what, Ambris? Maybe you should draw us something as repayment for making us late to the show, which is live now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the AWKWARDCast.
Congratulations, Keyframe. You managed to, for the first time, steal the opening. But yeah, hello and welcome everybody to the AWKWARDCast. ANY and Keyframe back in her usual spot. Wonder about random dribble. Today with us, the lovely Ambris. Welcome to the show, Ambris.
Hello, nice to be here.
Finally, nice having you.
It was kind of up in the air. It was kind of up in the air for a bit there.
Yeah.
But we finally made it. So, Ambris, tell us, who the hell are you?
I am my professional occupation is starving artist.
I believe other people in this call know about this profession.
Yeah. I am eating Skittles. I am not starving.
Yeah, it's a very rewarding profession. Going to art school, trying to get make ends meet with commissions and the like of that. I am a freelance artist by trade, and that's where I'm going. I'd like to do like graphic novels one day. That's kind of my big goal.
Nice.
Oh yeah, and my true secret is, yes, I am actually a shark girl.
Obviously, I mean.
Yeah.
I have to say, your costume at cons is quite convincing. You actually look like a semi-functional person.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that makes it double sad that the webcam is not working, because otherwise we would have a live cam into his shark tank and would see a talking female shark. But maybe next time.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, guys. It'll. the camera just didn't work for me.
I can't help but imagine at cons when Ambris is bending just under the tables a giant water tank that has his body get submerged in.
See, what you saw there was actually just like an extremely elaborate, like a Muppet. I was completely under the table the whole time, and it was just.
When ANY went twice to go get the Tempest poster that's in behind him. And the second time he went back, you were gone. It wasn't that you were actually gone. The Muppet was just under the table.
Yeah, exactly. If you had just like leaned over, it would have just this kind of like a lifeless me would be sitting there.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi. Get in character.
Don't.
Hi, human.
Don't pay any attention to the shark under the table.
Sorry, your print's a little soggy. It kind of fell. I'll give you half off.
That's great. Yeah. So I guess I want to talk about my week, because for once my week was eventful.
Oh wow! Well, we have eventful weeks. This usually doesn't happen, so that's why we have guests, Amber, so that they can tell something interesting. Because we can't.
Yes.
But apparently Keyframe has something. So yeah, please, I'm waiting.
Let me tell you about Keyframe's week of inconveniences. Oh my god. Okay, so let's get started. I played a lot of Heroes of the Storm. And,
okay, so far the week is exactly like every week for the last 2 months.
I know, but hold on. It gets better. So I'm playing Heroes of the Storm at 2 a.m. like a normal functional adult.
Still, the same as always.
I had YouTube playing on my phone. My phone suddenly just keeps dying and restarting, but keeps going back. And at first I was like, okay, maybe it's just doing a charge cycle or something. I don't know what was going on. And then it just started restarting. It would go to the logo screen. Shut off, go to the logo screen, shut off, go to the logo screen. I was like, okay, something's wrong here. And I looked it up, and they were like, oh, this means your battery is completely wiped out. Oh.
That would make sense.
And so I would just need to get my battery replaced. Perfectly fine. Closest Apple store. 2 hours away.
You know, they invented this thing called cars a while ago.
Yeah, who doesn't have a driver's license? No. But no, I mean, I can get one of the people to drive me. But I wanted to look up how much it's going to cost. How much does it cost to replace an iPhone 5 battery at an Apple store? It links me to the website, perfectly fine. Nothing past the iPhone 6 and 7.
Oh.
So the iPhone 5, if I wanted to get a battery for it, I would have to special order it and wait a week, and that would be $269.
Jeeves.
Sounds reasonable.
Nope. So I decided, well, my phone is like 4 years old. My old phone was my first cell phone. Whatever. I would need to get it updated anyway. So I go to the Verizon store because I paid off my phone and ready to get it. I wanted to get an iPhone 6. You know, the next generation. Sorry, ma'am, we're out of iPhone 6s. Do you want a special order and wait a week? Or would you like to get an iPhone 7?
Oy.
So basically, this underwhelming audio quality we get to you this week is presented by the iPhone 7.
Yes, it is. Because the fucking iPhone 7 is dumb. Like, the two plus sides is that it has more memory in it and the screen is bigger. Like, that's it. But I hate it so much. I hate the fact that you can't charge your phone and have headphones in. At least
Wait,
make
what?
the dongle split so you can do two things at once. No, a headphone jack, because that's not innovative. Just read.
This reminds me. But are you familiar with the Apple mouse?
No.
The what?
The mouse from Apple. I mean, iPhone also is Apple. Okay, so please, guys, tell me if you see what is wrong with this image. Ambris, I will put it on top of you for a moment because your facial expressions are kind of stagnant at the moment.
Yeah, people say I
offense.
have a wooden persona.
Yeah, kinda. Okay,
Or
but
like
so tell me if you spot the problem with this one.
Where's the buttons?
No. It's upside down because that's the charger cable.
It's upside down. Wow.
No, but it's a charger cable.
So you can't use it while it's charging.
Yes.
Why don't they put it on the back?
Because that would get rid of the sleek,
Yes.
profile. Apparently.
Yeah, I mean look at this beautiful design of the Apple mouse from the top. You can't ruin
It's a
this.
soap bar.
Yeah, so you need to put the charger
You use
down
this
here.
Wow, my God. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, like form and like you need form and function, and you can't have form completely override the function.
This is what Apple
But-
does. This is what Apple does. And the funny thing is, sorry for completely stealing your spot, Graham, but
It's fine.
So-
Complain about Apple, please.
we have one of those mice in the company. And one of my colleagues had it, and we were all like, what the fuck? This is the stupidest design ever. But a coworker of mine has some Apple fanboys in his circle of friends. So he basically sent this to them and was like, okay, try to defend this. And the defense by Apple fanboys, because they have a defense for this, is like, yeah, when you have Apple product, you just have a second mice while the first one is charging. Obviously.
Oh yeah, because I wanted to sell away my other arm for that second product. Okay.
This is so Apple. This is
I
so
wasn't-
Apple.
No, they have pretty much the same excuse for the problems with the earphones and the charger. They're like, hey, you know what you could do? You could get these wireless headphones that you have to charge that don't have, at least the other wireless headphones, they have a wire that you can wrap around. So they're not,
Right.
you don't lose one, which, let's be very frank here. This is me we're talking about. I would lose it in the first 20 minutes.
And aren't they like $75 too for those
They're
wireless?
$105.
Oh Jesus!
They're $105 and they only hold a 5-hour charge or half a Tool album. Like,
That's
It's-
ludicrous.
This is
it's
Oh, man,
it's so ludicrous. But
I'm reminded. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no.
I'm just saying, I'm reminded when I was taking art classes at my local community college, which sucked, but the guy who did a lot of the like the digital art classes, he was also like the department chair. He was a super Apple fanboy. He basically insisted that all the computer labs had, at least in the art department, had Apples, you know. And this, I don't know if it's changed now because I don't use Apple desktops, but this was when all the mice, maybe this is still the case, but all the mice had only one button, and they were. Is that still the case? I don't know if that was okay. Yeah.
They have hidden left and right button, but sorry, continue.
Okay, well that's it's a secret. Okay, I got it. Thank you. Like seriously, as an artist, I live or die by that right-click button. You know, doing stuff like in Adobe Illustrator and what all. You know, and so when I did work because I would go do work in classes and then I would do work at home, and I had to constantly like shift gears, you know, with my shortcuts. So I do work at home, but I get used to I know how to use the right click and all that stuff. Then I'd go to school and do work, and I'd have to like, okay, wait, how do I do this thing? And it's like you have to hold Control and Alt and normal click or something, or whatever it was, and it was just jarring as hell. And I'm like, But this teacher would just absolutely love Apple, and he would just take every opportunity to just drag on Microsoft on PCs, and just like, wow, what a fanboy.
Okay, in Apple's defense, they finally became innovative enough to catch up to Microsoft, and they have now a right click. They have what I meant earlier, they have one plain surface, but depending on if you click on the left or the right end, it still has a left and right click function.
I'm impressed. I'm surprised they didn't suggest that you buy a second mouse for your right clicks.
It's like the nunchuck for the Wiimote, just so that. But
yes, exactly.
I had the same thing back in high school during my senior year when I transferred to the Bloomington School because they had a media class and a media lab. They had one desktop, one PC, and the rest were Apples. And I hate Apple computers so much that I was like, okay, I need to work on here. There was only one other student that worked on that computer. I never never got to use that PC for the entire year because that guy was a dick. But,
jeez.
Oh, yeah. He deleted my final project. Like.
Whoa.
Okay. Fun key story.
I gotta hear this.
Okay. We had to do a short film, like a short thesis film, for our final project in media class. And mine was like, I did like 2 months of filming for this. And I had to do it all by myself because I had no friends. But it was all.
We talked about this yesterday. Stop making every story about Little Key super depressing.
This is not Little Key. This is senior year Key. So
still!
But no. I had it all edited and finished out. It has a happy ending, don't worry. And what this guy did is that he went into my account while I went to the bathroom and I had the computer open and deleted the Premiere program from the computer.
Why?
What?
He just didn't like me. I don't know.
Wow.
Wow.
But the happy ending to this story.
I'm really excited to see this now, how this turns happy,
because
please.
I only had 4 days to get something to turn in. So, being a YouTuber helps. I submitted one of the Brony Gallery episodes and I got an A.
So you didn't do anything at the end. You just used the video you already did.
Yeah, because
nice.
Because at the same time I was working on my thesis film, that is when the Brony Gallery episode came out. So it was still the same relative time. And now my old media teacher watches my videos as an actual fan of my stuff and called me. And he kept calling me Key throughout the second semester because, yeah, it was actually kind of cool.
That's got to be surreal, though. Wow.
It's surreal because he was like, did you make those vectors? And like, is that you? Like, or is that like a persona? And I had to explain to him what the Brony fandom was.
Oh, joy.
Anyway, that's my week.
I just want to say, yeah.
tangent.
I wish I could use my personal projects for class. That would be a hell of a time save.
Yeah, but like so my week of inconvenience, I got the phone. I played more Heroes of the Storm, bought Sergeant Hammer. That was a fun day. But then I had fun with my bank.
Oh, that financial stuff.
No wonder if you
yes.
buy expensive stuff like an Apple iPhone 7, I would be very cautious as a bank as well.
Or 2 Apple mice.
Money-wise, I have no problem. I made some great purchases yesterday.
Oh my.
Yeah, but like the thing is, when I went to MagFest, I lost my debit card.
Oh.
So I haven't been able to get money out of my bank. I still put stuff in my checking account, but I haven't been able to take stuff out. So 2 weeks ago, I was responsible. I went to the bank and I was like, hey, close the card and order me a new one. Because, well, I don't need someone to find the card and then suddenly go and buy like $100 worth of McDonald's or something like that. Because you don't need a PIN to buy food at McDonald's. I learned that.
Huh.
Were they going to say it'd take a week and charge you $105?
No. Luckily, they were like, okay, it should take like 5 to 10 business days. And I was like, that's fine. They gave me an ATM card, and they were like, okay, we're going to close the card, blah, blah, blah. There you go. I was happy. I didn't need to go to the bank anyway for the next couple of weeks. However, 2 weeks have passed. No debit card in the mail. I'm getting worried because I have to travel, and for me to take out money, I need my card. So I go to the bank again. They shoo me out, and they're like, you can handle this over the phone. So I call them on the phone. I'm sorry,
why don't you come?
I would have said you're like, okay, step away from the counter, pull your smartphone, I like ling ling.
Right. That would have been a hell of a smart ass.
Be like,
and continue.
And then they say, why don't you come in to take care of that?
Yeah, and you continue staring at the clerk who just shushed you off, like.
Yeah.
Give him the death stare. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but here, let me describe this man. This man looked like a douchebag. He had his, have you guys ever heard of Martin Scarelli, that guy who made like AIDS medication cost like from $7 to like $1,000 and
douchebag the douchebag the face. I know him. Yeah.
Think of that guy mixed with Trump Jr. and then you actually have what he looks like. Because yeah.
That's a supremely punchable face.
Oh yeah, and he had enough grease in his hair that it's very soft lighting in this game. It was sparkling, man. Like,
but yeah, this lovely fellow.
Yeah, this
wow.
lovely fella. He was just a douchebag. But I called the phone, and they're like, okay, ma'am, sorry, we'll take care of this. Click, 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 click. I'm sorry, ma'am, but since you recently changed your address, we can't do this over the phone. You have to go to a clerk at the bank. I'm giving a 3-second warning to headphone users. Just like, I was so angry because I do paperless statements. I don't get mail because I don't like having a bunch of mail and stuff. So I haven't changed the address on my thing from when I lived in Camarillo. So I recently changed it when I was at the bank to order the card the first time. But here's the thing that made me over the moon. When I was this teller was very nice who was on the phone. She was like, "Ma'am, they didn't close your card."
Lovely.
Wow.
Excuse me? Like, so in the span of now 3 weeks, someone could have found my card and bought. I have $800 in my account right now. $800 worth of McDonald's.
That would make a lot of cheeseburgers.
Yeah, and a lot of fries. But
precisely 800 cheeseburgers, actually. I think they changed it.
But, like, I was just like, Oh, so she at least was able to close the card, and I was like, fine. Let me go to the ATM. I have an ATM card. At least I can take out some cash. Stick it in the ATM. Sorry, we've hit a snag. Hello, is there a problem with my ATM card? Oh yeah, the teller never confirmed it with your account, so you can't use it.
Lovely.
What a nightmare.
You know what I have to say to all of this, Keyframe?
What?
That's stupid money.
It is. It is. But, like, luckily I was able to get cash from someone else and just PayPal them the money, so all was good. I was still able to make my purchases. But, like, that was my week of inconvenience. I did say my week was eventful.
That's true. That's true.
Isn't all, like, you know, ATMs and digital money and the internet and all that supposed to make things more convenient?
That's inconvenient. The spin-off of That's Stupid.
Oh yeah, sounds like it.
But Ambris, how about your week? Tell us, what's a week in the life of Ambris?
Well, my last week has not been exactly normal because the semester starts up literally tomorrow. So I've been stressed about that. You know, getting my classes set up and just trying to get everything else wrapped up and taken care of so that I can focus more clearly on classes. I wanted to catch up on all my commissions before I did, but then I got distracted and just with like Patreon work and Dark Souls and you know, totally being a responsible adult the whole time. But you know, that's just, you know, that's just the way it is. But I have not been like completely caught up on commissions in probably 3 or 4 years. I am perpetually having some commissions that I have to do at any point in time.
I mean, at least
I feel better about myself because I have a long wait list on my commissions. I feel a lot better now.
But I mean, as long as just only some commissions always that they're still moving forward, then it's kind of okay. But if you have some commissions waiting for 4 or 3 years, then maybe you should revise the process.
My commissions, I tend to get commissions done in a 2 or like the long ones tend to be 2 or 3 months. You know, ETA. Sometimes I've had them go as long as 6 months because of just distraction. But the other day, and this is really embarrassing, but literally, someone contacted me about a commission that I took 2 years ago that I completely forgot. At some point, like when I moved my hard drive over, like I guess the original notes for it got lost and I lost track of it. And he wasn't mad or anything because he follows me as a fan. He's a pretty cool person, but he kind of mentioned like, you know, hey, was that still okay? Like he was being really like passive and not aggressive about it. I'm like, dude, you could have brought this up sooner. I'm not ignoring you. I literally just forgot. So I put his commission immediately at the front of my queue. I took time off from everything else to get his done in a day or so, and I did that. I'm like, it's so glad. I have the best fans. I'm so bad about getting commissions done in a prompt manner, but no one's really ever given me sass for it, except for one guy. But I pretty much.
I told you I'm sorry. Oh wait, so you weren't about to say this was me.
Oh no. There was one guy who, honestly, his commission had only been like a few weeks, but he was already sassing me about it not being done in time. And when I mentioned, you know, like I'm having a bad day, I'm stressed, I'm just going to take a break from doing commissions today because I'm so burnt out on just my bad day or whatever. And then he got like really snarky about, you know, oh, well, I guess whatever, you're having a bad day, I guess just ignore all your commissions then. And I'm like, okay, you know what, dude? And this was like the 3rd time he'd been like passive aggressive with me, and I just ignored him the other times. But then I'm like, okay, that's it. I just refunded his commission and said, I'm not interested in working with you. You know, goodbye. Here's your refund, whatever. And then suddenly he's like, wait, no, I wanted you to do my commission. And I'm like, nope, I'm not interested in doing any work with you. And he's like, don't. Like I said, he got snarky and passive aggressive with me twice, and I just ignored it. I was just going to be magnanimous and just sort of like, No, nah, whatever. He can be a little snarky. I'm bigger than that. But 3 times in a row, especially when I've already been having a bad day, it's like clearly this is just the way he is, and yeah, it's just I don't have time for that. It his $40 was not worth that kind of stress. So like screw that.
You should have when you refunded him, you should have emailed him like a week later, being like, dude, you know what? I feel like you deserved me to draw you something. Just do like a poor stick figure of Sunset Shimmer flipping him off, just like
just give him the finger.
like a really detailed hand, but everything else is a stick figure.
But bacon hair.
It's just absolutely like to see all the individual little skin creases of the finger. just just way close up, and the rest is just a crude little stick figure.
That
there
just
you
needs
go.
to be a picture. That would be the best reaction picture to have on the web.
Yeah, it would. Just very, very all-purpose. Something we can all relate to.
Yeah.
I don't think I can God, my English is all over the place today. Sorry for that. But I don't think I can agree with you, artist guys, both of you. Like, this poor guy was entitled and you did not acknowledge it.
Entitled is right.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I'm strongly disappointed in both of you.
Oh man, did you that reminds? I don't know if you saw this on my blog, but I did an alignment chart meme thing kinda but it was just text, but it was basically like the types of commissioners, the type of people who commission OCs. Based on like the D&D alignment thing, and there was a bunch of them. I had encountered all of these people before of various kinds, and there's this, and that was fun. But then this one guy responds and completely takes each one individually and systematically turns it around to make me look like the most colossal asshole for doing it. But for any of these things, because and. At the bottom of it, he just had in the tags. He just said like, "Man, screw artists," or something like that. He was even more like profane than that even. And I revlogged it. I didn't bother retorting anything. I just said, "Who hurt you?" Like, I get the impression an artist like, pissed in his cornflakes or stole his firstborn or something. He just he hated artists apparently.
Did your mother never hug you? Like,
yeah, exactly. It's just. Who hurt you, man? Just
what gift did Santa not bring you one year? Like, what's wrong?
I know. It had to be art related, whatever it was, because apparently he had this huge hang up about artists, I guess. Never to mind the fact that he had art as his avatar and all that stuff. He still wants artists to make stuff for him apparently, but he doesn't want to have to be at all vaguely grateful that artists exist.
Oh, that sounds like someone I know.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, all you have to do is somewhat Photoshop the eye of your character to look down, and then you would see who I'm talking about.
Wait, what?
I think so. Oh, that's quite a call out.
The problem is
No.
I just missed the jab because I was looking if I can find this on your blog, but I couldn't find it in the short time.
No, I was just saying that you want people to make you things, but you don't want to show that you're any way grateful.
No. This is just you, Keyframe.
Oh, I'm special.
Yes, you are special by not getting any gratitude from me.
Oh, fuck you. How was
Fuck
your
you
week,
too.
Max?
Even in my weeks, some small things happened. First thing, I finally did the big step. I installed Discord and created a profile and my own little server and stuff. So I'm ready for the future. And
Yay.
we already yesterday had with our friends most of them actually have been here on the show so far. So Kichi, British Ninja, and so on. So we went into the new server. Basically, we needed to poke British on Skype to actually notice that we are now in Discord. Because they are not using Discord yet as a group. Here's the thing. I always thought I'm the last person to get there because I was always I need Skype for this year, face cam. doing shows on Twitch, you need Skype because Discord is not there yet. So I thought like, I will join Discord as soon as they are ready. I will jump ship without a second thought because screw Skype and screw Microsoft. But
Very much.
yeah, so I finally went there just Discord, but nobody's using it. Everybody's still using Skype anyways.
Ah, gee, yeah.
Because I pointed out multiple times, because I've used Discord for like a year and a half now. I only use Discord for work because all the DA Games people refuse to use Skype. But besides that, it's like, I don't like Discord.
Mm-hmm.
I really do not think it's intuitively made.
But no, Mr. Joe Mule. Discord is no alternative to Twitch. Twitch is a streaming page. Discord is a messenger system, like Skype, basically.
Yeah. I love Discord myself, and I can't stand Skype. But that's just me.
Well,
My brother.
You have a differing opinion from mine, Mr. Ambris. I guess that means that we are no longer friends.
No.
But you're still welcome as a guest.
But that's the same with my brother. My brother cannot stand Discord. He prefers Skype, and I'm like, why? My biggest problem. I mean, like all the technical difficulties I just had with Skype, and stuff like that. But at the same time, Discord isn't quite like 100% fully featured yet, so I totally get that.
But
it definitely, I didn't understand its UI at first. It was slightly different and it was kind of weird, but I got it now.
I actually like the feature with the multiple rooms and with the separate calls where you see that somebody is in the call, so you know if you want to join or not, and if something is going on, you don't need to ring people up. You can just go into the call room and wait if somebody else joins. So we had one of our friends, British Ninja, and he came in and was like, he's from the pro Skype anti-Discord group. And he was like, I don't like it, all blah, whatever. And then he discovered text-to-speech.
Oh, no.
Oh, God. We had like 20 minutes or so where all of us just tried to do the most obnoxious shit with text-to-speak, like creating helicopter noises, copy-pasting entire scripts of our videos and stuff like this. It was ugly. It was very.
I want to hear the Navy SEAL rant in text-to-speach. That would be really something.
I did a text-to-speech of the song Wonderwall.
I posted some German stuff, and the text-to-speech had a very hard time pronouncing anything.
And then it was text-to-speech, and then it was like 10 solid minutes of sharing automaphone covers.
Oh, and Ninja did the horrible thing of, what was it? He posted some A icon, like
this A emoji, and it just was like.
And for it did not break up for once. So he posted like 100 of them, and each was not A, but it was A. What was it?
It was It was like
A something symbol, A something symbol, A something symbol, A something symbol, and we all break apart, and it doesn't stop for 5 minutes. It goes like A something symbol, A something symbol. Ninja is crying like, I'm so sorry.
He tried closing the application, and it still was doing.
Yes, I switched voice chat rooms, and I still heard it in every room. I went to a different server, and I still heard it.
I unplugged the computer, and it was still playing.
That sounds like some creepypasta stuff there.
But yeah,
but no, the thing that saved it was that I just put I put something like Dog of Wisdom or something, TTS, like Dog of Wisdom, and then it stopped.
But yeah, besides that, the only other noteworthy thing this week was, I uploaded the new video, the That's Stupid Money, and apparently now I'm a communist.
Welcome to the Comcast.
Oh God, I got accused of being a communist the other day too.
you see, you are in good company. No, the thing was, in my video, I started with basically going a little bit through the history of how money evolved. I explain how I personally love cashless payment, and one of the very last lines of the video is that I call money a brilliant invention. But the second to last paragraph is me ranting about the 1% assholes who try to get tax cuts by corruption. And apparently this criticism of capitalism makes me automatically a communist, because I got accused like half a dozen times by completely separate people. I was like, okay.
Exact same. I mean, like lower key, but I literally, I just reblogged something and more or less said that, hypercapitalism is the source of a ton of problems in the world. I wasn't trying to say that, capitalism is inherently evil.
No.
Just that capitalism, especially as it's expressed today, corporatism might be a more accurate term. I don't know, but the sort of like the hyper capitalism where you get like the 1%ers is kind of just screws up the whole system.
Yes.
And that's messing up. And I was accused of being a communist, and I'm like, no, communism is messed up too. It has its own, incredibly, and I think that most the problem is that just about any kind of governmental system is, the quality of a governmental system is entirely based on how easy is it for people to subvert for their own gain. Because no matter what you do, like every governmental system, has good intentions. Capitalism has good intentions. Communism has good intentions. But as soon as there's someone who wants to subvert the system for their own gain at the expense of other people else, the system is flawed. And almost every system is flawed either to major or lesser degrees. I feel like one thing we haven't really tried yet is like genuine, capitalistic socialism or whatever the term is. And it's like, let's give that a shot and see how well that works out. But, people are like, for the longest time, because I live in like sorry, I just wanted my final one comment. The longest time that I live in like a hyper conservative area, which sucks. And for the longest time, I thought socialism was synonymous with communism until someone told me recently that it wasn't, because I was never told like
where you live, everything left from the middle is all communism.
Yeah, apparently. Sorry, go ahead. I did say.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, if you guys are both commies now, we need to give you some good communist names. So, Vladimir Ambris and Putin Y.
I am Comrade Maximo.
I like the names.
I like this name.
But,
Okay.
And then, of course, I could be...
Natasha.
Yes, Natasha frame. We eat borscht.
But yeah.
Only borscht and Prospero eggs between thighs.
Let's eat borscht and wrestle bears and make bad Russian stereotypes.
Yes.
In Mother Russia, stereotype makes you.
Wow, that's one accent you could do besides your own.
This is because Russian accent very close to German.
Very close.
Now I'm kind of the count. One guest.
One communist.
Two communists.
The Comrade Cast. Welcome to Comrade Cast.
Comrade Cast. But
yeah, I guess
comrade.
We could talk about our medias.
As one final thought, like, so talking about money makes me a communist. My next stupid is about too many genders on Facebook. I'm going to get lynched by Tumblr. Oh yeah, right. The next one is cheating. The run after will be too many genders on Facebook. I will get lynched by Tumblr. I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, media.
Yes, media. So I'll start. We'll just go back in our order, like the good little not complete semicircle we are.
It's a triangle.
We're a right angle, and Ambris, you're the most right one of us all. But my media.
Now we're an acute angle because we're all cute. That works.
But,
or obtuse, I'm not sure.
Yeah, my media, because I'm not allowed to talk about the things I like, but I will talk about the things I like. I've been really, because I've been working a lot, and I don't know, what I've been consuming on YouTube, especially in the past month, has been a lot different than what I usually consume. Like, I go through these phases where I will watch a bunch of Let's Players, or I'll watch a bunch of podcasts, or I'll watch a bunch of what I'm going to be talking about, which are art channels. I find it really intriguing to see another artist's process and how they do things, especially since I'm mainly known for digital, but I've been a painter for longer. But I've only recently started to get back into painting and putting paintings in public. So I watch a lot of traditional artists and seeing the stuff they do, like challenges and a bunch of things. So I have 3 channels that I would like to recommend to people, and I try to keep them. They all do somewhat similar things, but they use different mediums often. One is probably the most popular of these channels, which is Draw with Jazza, who's an Australian YouTuber who can literally make art out of anything.
Yeah, I follow him, but I don't watch any of his videos because I'm like, I'll get to that later, and then I never do.
Let me just say this. He made a video where he went to dumpsters, got trash, and made it into art.
Jesus. Huh. That's impressive.
And then he had another video where he, because he has a 2-year-old toddler, Mini Jazza, and he basically sat down with his kid, and his kid did what toddlers do. They scribble. They make just a bunch of random lines and then beat the marker into oblivion. And he took one of those scribbles and made a fully fledged Curious George illustration out of it.
Huh.
Wow.
And it's really interesting. And he also has tutorial videos where he's like how to do body composition, anatomy, facial expressions. He's a published author because he's done a lot of art books. He does like this kind of like how Ross on Twitter does Anna Monthly, where people make animations each month. He has a monthly art challenge for people, and the winners of those challenges in the different categories get like access to his resources on the site or a drawing tablet, all this stuff. He's just a really inspiring person, and he's so funny and charismatic. What I like is that it shows that artists have more personality than what they put on paper. Mm-hmm. So as an entering into the art YouTuber community, Draw with Jazza is probably the best person to go into.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is probably a little bit more acquired taste is Robin Klontz, or Klontz. I can never pronounce her name. And she's an acrylic artist. And she looks like she's 16, right? She's 26.
Oh. Wow.
I know. First of all, deceiving age. She owns a chicken that she keeps in her studio, and I love her. But she does a lot of videos that talk about when your style starts to shift, mistakes artists do, using different acrylics and oils and all this stuff. She's more educational, but she still has that great personality. And I just love watching her paint. Watching her paint is intriguing because she does a lot of water-based things, and water is one of the bitchiest things to ever art. And she does these wave paintings that look like photographs. It's beautiful. But the video I would recommend from her is her second most recent video, where she just stayed up for 24 hours and paint.
How?
Wow.
She did. But the beginning of that video, there's this one exercise she does, and to anyone who wants to get into painting, I think this is actually a really brilliant exercise to do. Paint over photographs, because it helps you loosen up your brush strokes and learn about color matching and all that stuff. And it's a really good exercise, especially if you want to be more impressionist with your artwork. But yeah, so that's her. And then there's one more that's Draw with Waffles, and she's the most casual out of all of them.
I just wanted to. Does the name ring a bell, Draw with Waffles? Did you mention her before in some context?
No. Because Draw with Jazza, similar names. But Draw with Waffles she does a lot of marker stuff and pen inking, and she's a lot more casual with her stuff. She's not exactly educational. She doesn't do a bunch of challenges like Jazza does. But as an illustrator, it's just intriguing to watch her work and how she handles things, because she's an artist that is constantly improving, and she shows with each drawing she's improving. Like, Robin and Jazza kind of are on that level of professionalism where their improvements are very incremental, like they're very small. Hers, you can constantly see improvement, and I love watching that, seeing someone grow. And also, she does like the 1 marker challenge videos, and I'm just intrigued watching that because I use so many colors in my artwork that seeing someone just use 1 color is just like, I'm uncomfortable. I don't like this. Let me keep watching.
This goes against everything you believe in.
This goes against all of my hippy-dippy beliefs. Go on. But, yeah, so I would say there's not really a particular video from her that I could say, like, this is a great one to go into. Maybe one of her most recent videos where every year she draws Rapunzel from Tangled, and you see her improvement from 2012 to now. And she actually talks about how even when you evolve in some things, you devolve in other things, and how she's like, oh, I drew the corset that I really liked it the way that I did last year with all this detail, but I didn't do it this time around. And it's interesting just to hear, and this goes for all 3 of them, just to hear how an artist thinks and their processes throughout how they do.
I guess since you advertised her with how much progress you can see, this is probably one of the more interesting videos to showcase this particular aspect of her channel.
Yes. Oh, and just something I'm going to recommend from Jazza, because this was the video that I was like, God damn it. He did a challenge where he painted something with coffee. And it was the most interesting thing because he was just making different coffee mixes. And then at the end, he took all the coffee mix and put them into 1 cup and drank all of it. And this is like some of the most saturated black coffee you can think of.
You might call that drawing with Java.
Yeah, no, you could see that he was bouncing up and down, that he was starting to go a little bit like, caffeinated, and he's the funniest out of all 3 of them. I love it. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of art YouTubers because hearing how other people do their process and seeing how they do it, it makes me feel more influenced. And I watch a lot of more traditional-based artists, even though Jazza does digital stuff, most of his challenges are traditional. Because with digital stuff, and I'm not bashing digital because I am digital, you can kind of just see the canvas and then the cursor and draw with the draw keys and all that stuff. With them, you see more of the construction and the building, and it really intrigues me and makes me want to implement that stuff or be like, why do I not do this, but I like to do this. It's very interesting to see different artists' perspective and how it all comes together.
Everybody can check out all 3 of them down in the description below. So,
yes.
Ambris.
Yes.
What media do you want to present today? Did you bring something for us?
Bring something? Jeez, I don't know.
No, don't bring, whatever. I tried to Google it quickly.
Did you bring something for show and tell?
I didn't think about doing that. Let me see if I haven't really posted a whole lot of stuff recently.
Okay, I give you time by talking about mine, and then you can just drop it in Skype. So I put mine. Where's mine? There is mine. So this week, I don't know how I came across it. I'm not even sure if I really started watching it this week, but the channel Charisma on Command, which I don't even know what the first impression is from a title like this. How I came across this video was like, where is it? I mean, first of all, you see a Rick and Morty video, which is already getting my attention. Where was it? Basically what this guy does is analyzing what makes certain people charismatic, how to interact with people, how to how to influence in a positive way or also in a negative way. For example, when he talks about the diverse Game of Thrones characters, I mean, everybody who knows the show knows that a lot of them are pretty much assholes. He still is like, okay, here's the difference why Tyrion is probably one of the more likable people. What makes Tyrion so strong? By listening to people and then answering in a way they understand, especially when it doesn't work. How he tries to approach people from different angles. Then on the other hand, we have like his dad, Tyrion, if I ever find it. He does a lot of videos, as you can tell. I must have scrolled past him because this was the beginning. But he also talked a lot about real life people, like what makes Dwayne The Rock Johnson so super charismatic, or here Jane, or he also doesn't shy away from talking about why Trump will smash Hillary. When you watch the video, you will figure out why the charisma guy is anti-Trump, but he is still like, yeah, I see this, but I bet with you guys Trump will win. And this video is like a year ago, so it was like, I mean, I believe it's even 1.5 years ago. Let's just check the date.
Donald Trump is going.
Yeah, this is from May 2016, and he was already back then like, I bet with you guys, and he put money down on his bet that Trump will win because he analyzed the persuasion tactics Trump used. But once again, he also is very interesting because he does a lot of stuff on pop culture references. He gives a lot of advice, so it's also not just analyzing, but also with the intention to teach people how to emulate those kind of aspects that make you strong in social situations, that make you a more likable person, that make you a charismatic person. One other thing I really like is he is like, I believe Captain America versus Iron Man or so, where he basically points out how the actors, so Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Hansen is Thor.
Pratt.
No, who is Captain America again?
Hemsworth?
Is he also? He's also a Chris, isn't he?
It's Chris Evans. Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. Hemsworth is Thor.
many
Thor.
Chris's.
Yeah, I know. But
There's Chris, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pine, Chris shoot, there was a fourth one and I cannot remember.
Pratt?
Huh?
No, we
Pratt.
have
That was it, Chris Pratt. There's 4 Chris's. There's like this. It's a super. It's like an obscenely
The Marvel
popular.
Chris universe.
Yeah, but he's basically explaining how because Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Hans, whatever, the actor of Captain America, are in real life amazingly similar to their Marvel counterparts, which funny enough. And he mirrors them next to each other, why they are both in their very own unique way so likable and interesting. And so amazing channel over the last week. Because I watched like 5 or 6 in a row now. Whatever video I watch, one of his videos pops up in the recommendation bar on the site, and so every day I come back there and I watch more of it. And once again, he is really very objective. I mean, he also has stuff like positive videos about Paul Logan. How he really goes there completely neutral. And it's like why this was pre the scandal, obviously, but he is very much like why Paul Logan is a genius in the context of how he markets himself. So he's really neutral about it. He's just going there and be like, hey, look at this. What does this person write? What can you as a other person take away from it for yourself? So obviously I'll put the link down below, and I personally am totally hooked by this channel. This channel is amazing.
In Mother Russia, Paul Logan's you.
So we say on the AWKWARDCast.
On the comment, yes.
So, Ambris, do you have anything you want to show off, or
do you do you mean like just like stuff I've been watching or been messing with?
Basically the media section can be anything. Can be a channel, can be a YouTube channel like the two of us did. It can be a movie you recently watched, a series. It can be a webcomic you read, a book you read, audio play, something you draw yourself in your particular case.
I have been drawing. Have been working on a lot of project stuff that I have not posted anywhere. But I don't know if I should show that or
exclusive material.
Oh yeah, exclusive. I've been working on a visual novel that I want to do at some point.
Nice.
Because that would make a lot of money, good money. I see a lot of them that do, and it's just something I'm doing. I got 2 major creative projects right now. One is a visual novel. It's going to be a Monster Girl themed visual novel, which is something that I have not seen, which sounds pretty cool.
You got my attention. Please continue.
I will show you.
Spider Girl.
I mean, I don't really.
I'm hesitant about doing a Spider Girl because I just don't know. I am just slightly, not a lot, but I'm just slightly arachnophobic. So I'm kind of not keen on drawing anything spider related. I could, but I feel like I need to change the design in such a way that makes me more comfortable and more actually like excited to draw it instead of a little bit squicked out. But I'm doing a bunch of. I've like basically been. This is part of what I got distracted from doing commissions. I started just doing, just making a bunch of random Monster Girl designs to, for a cast. And I'm not even done yet. Let me screenshot my sketch work here, and put this up. Give you a link. It's all God. I hope this is actually visible.
Thank you, British Ninja, for your great contributions to the conversation.
While the screenshot's being shown off, no, one of the things that I found out is that ANY doesn't like Spider Girls because two of the epic or rare Zagara skins that I got is ones where the entire top up is like a human, while the bottom is still like a spider Zergy thing, and he really doesn't like it.
Yeah, it looks very weird, but I mean, I am furry scum. I will admit it every day of the week.
Yeah, furry trash.
And I mean, the wall behind me that cannot be seen at the moment. Right here. I mean, the wall behind me shows enough of. It's not too furry. The majority.
I see two of my posters back there.
Yes, indeed, the Antorant. But yeah, there's actually more furry stuff in basically every other direction, like on this wall, on up here. So. I have
by the bathroom.
No, on the way to the bathroom. I don't have furry stuff in the bathroom. Oh, by the bathroom. That's true. In the bed. Yeah. So
yeah, that's how my wall is too.
For some reason, Spider Girls, I don't know. They look. I know this is weird to say about Monster Girls, but they look too contrived. But yeah,
you want all 8 of those legs to just wrap around you.
But yeah,
they strike me as the most difficult to conceive. But yeah, I've been like just throwing Monster Girl designs just sort of at the wall. Like I don't know what this full cast is gonna be. So I got like a Lamia, a Dragon Girl, a Harpy, a Deer Centaur. Then I wanted to go something because I didn't want to just be like Monster Musume all over again. So I'm trying to do some. That 5th one is a I don't know how to pronounce it. Sahuagin. What are they called? They're like basically aquatic.
Japanese
thing.
Water demon
it's an Irish name. I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
Sahuagin. How to pronounce it. So she's like an aquatic. They're like aquatic predator things. I don't know how to describe it. And then the far right is a Minotaur, which was like the last thing I did before I realized, I just spent like the last 4 days just sketching out Monster Girls. I should get back to commissions and stuff. So that was one thing I did recently, and that's been fun. I've been having the most fun in the longest time drawing, just doing these. I love character design. That is like literally my passion, more so than anything else in illustration, is character design. And if I was to get a professional job, I would want to be a concept artist for character design. That's what I would kill to do. And so doing this is my passion right here, and all that stuff. That's what I've been kind of juggling this project with also wanting to do a furry webcomic, which I think I have mentioned before on my blogs and stuff like that, which my Shark Girl here is a main character of that. So that's the other. So these are like the 2 things that I am majorly focused on right now, and trying my best to do while I'm still trying to go to school and trying to do commissions to pay the bills. So I'm just sort of like drawing all the time when I'm not playing video games and being distracted by that. But
But really loving to see that you have more or go more into the direction of general furry stuff.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I love pony stuff, and I'll always, enjoy drawing that. And I have to appreciate that that's where I kind of got my start, like really took off as a freelance artist. But I don't want to be thought of as strictly a pony artist. I'd rather be thought of as a furry artist, or even just a general artist who sometimes draws ponies. I
believe I posted like a year and a half ago when you released one of the back then still very rare general furry. I believe it was even a commission or something. I was like, dude, I want to see you do more furry stuff. And I believe your reply was down the lines of, the problem is that demand.
Yeah, I really should just put out, like, when I do commissions, I really should just put out a call for, I'll do commissions, but furry stuff, I'll discount it or something. Because I've learned with commissions, it's a cycle. The more commission stuff you do, like the kind of stuff that you do, that's what other people want more commissions of. So if I'm constantly doing pony commissions, that's people just want more pony commissions, So it becomes a kind of a vicious cycle that I've been trying to get out of, But
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm aware that. I'm aware that I'm not helping because I never did commission you, but I don't have ideas. I have no ideas to ask for commissions. I'm like on Fur Affinity, like I have so many artists. Whenever they open up commissions, I'm like, but I don't know what.
But oh no, I can just say this: most of me and Ambris's like Twitter DM conversations is like, God, we just want to be general artists.
Yes, it is exactly.
That's how we became friendos.
And I tell you, I so appreciate having someone to talk to about that, because I don't know what it is, but somehow all of my friends, like 90% of my friends, are all programmers. And so I'm like, when we go out to cons and we're going out, like one time, literally, we went out to dinner at a con with all my program friends and some of their friends that I've never heard. And I'm sitting here, I'm one artist surrounded by 7 programmers, and they are all talking about programming languages. And I'm just sitting here like, what am I? I'm all alone. Just I have nothing to contribute to any of their conversation. I'm just like they're going on with jargon that I have no clue. They're it's so lately but fortunately lately I've been meeting and making friends with more artists, including you, and like, oh God, that's nice. It's nice to have people who like get what being an artist is like. So and I can rant about stuff and you get it, and that's nice.
Yes.
Okay. However, I guess it's time to move on to the Q&A. Before that, we for the first time ever, we managed to know who we have a week in advance.
Thank you, me.
Absolutely. Thanks the new secretary of the show. So for next week, you can also post questions directed to Zach as Fuller.
Let me take care of this part. You just sit there and look pretty.
Okay.
God damn it.
Wait.
Yes, our next guest will be Zach X Fuller. For people who don't know who Zach X Fuller is, Zach X Fuller is a YouTuber and a voice actor who you might know from a bunch of Pie Nation animations. He voiced in a bunch of the FNAF sequel things. He also was the businessman in the first Suction Cup Man, and Donald Trump in the second Suction Cup Man video. And he also, he does voices for a bunch of things. He's a huge Transformers nut, so if you want any ideas for questions, voice acting, games, Transformers, there's some ideas there. He's a really cool guy, and I'm going to be happy to have our first, fully not pony person on the podcast.
Well, if you go by Pie Animations, you're already getting okay.
I mean, he did voice in. Oh wait, he did voice in every single one of Pie's pony animations, I think.
Anyways, Q&As.
You can't escape the pony, apparently.
Q&As, and the first one is already one that nicely fits into the last thing we talked about by the Death Alchemist. How did you guys discover and became furries?
Who wants to go first?
Ambris, do you want to have the honor?
I blame Crystal.
From Star Fox?
Yes, from Star Fox. Also, probably about the same time, Sally Acorn from the old Archie Sonic comics. Who Sad AM, who has recently been phased out of existence, and I'm heartbroken about that. Also, Crystal seems to have been phased out of the Star Fox canon with the recent game. So no, my original, my first fictional crushes are gone now. They're from canon. I'm heartbroken.
The waifus are leaving.
Yeah,
yeah.
when I was first. Probably I don't know. That was a formative time. I must have discovered both of those about the time I hit puberty, and it was pretty much just sunk ship from there. Well, then again, I think even before then, I always liked animal characters, so it might go further back than that. But I've been a furry from before I even knew what a furry was, so it just goes all the way back.
I have the feeling this kind of interest has a long time growing and developing, and yeah.
Without a doubt.
I mean, my personal moment of epiphany was, I already, similar to you, have been watching all the Disney stuff when I was younger. Sonic ZAM completely under my radar, so this one I didn't see, but in general, a lot of stuff. And my actual awakening that happened was a very fun thing. It was when I was in America, for whatever reason, in the 11th grade. And my host family had a wall of DVDs, a wall completely plastered with DVDs. For the young kids, for the millennials, this was before streaming was a thing. We still had physical copies of movies, And one of them was Cats, and I personally always had a thing for musicals. And this one I was not familiar with, so I put in the DVD, and it was the Broadway version, so the big production thingy. And apparently they recorded this specifically because with the camera angles and everything, they did an extra show for the recording. And well, I was by those, I would say as close as they get without CGI, real life intros. And I was just sitting there and was like, wow, I want to learn ballet. I want to be part of this. I mean, this kind of bad it got. And even when I returned,
how many times did you watch it?
I don't know. When I returned, I believe 2 or 3 times while I was still in America, and when I when I came back home to Germany, I got myself the DVD, and I don't know how often I watch it. I don't have it. Do I still have it up here?
I just imagine little Max sitting with his Taco Bell watching Cats. The good times of America.
Yeah, but no, I don't have it in my flat anymore. It's down in the basement. But yeah, this was basically my moment of awakening. In hindsight, I can say yeah, obviously I loved all the furry stuff even before, but this was the moment where the I went over the edge and I could not return anymore. Keyframe.
Oh no.
What made you a furry?
I actually started the furriness at a very, very young age. Well, I mean, this doesn't count, but I thought I was a dog until I was 3 years old. Let me explain. We had a dog named Butch, best dog in the entire wide world. Loved him. And he was one of those big Bernese mountain dogs, and he would be basically my guard dog. He always protected me. He was always around. Every baby picture has him somewhere peeking in the corner. I hung out with this dog so much I thought I was a dog, and I would drink out of the dog bowl.
Oh.
There are pictures.
So you're less of a furry, you're an actual otherkin.
No, I'm just saying, little did we know what would happen in the future. But I watched a lot of Disney stuff, a lot of anthropomorphic shows, like everyone does. The Rescue Rangers, DuckTales, Darkwing. I liked anthropomorphic characters more than I liked human characters. Case in point, a bunch of Hanna-Barbera cartoons are anthropomorphic animals. So,
Sure enough.
well look, I'm not going to go further on it, but they are. And one of my favorite cartoons besides Scooby-Doo was Josie and the Pussycats, which are characters that are consistently dressed as cats.
What were your particular thoughts on Basil, the Great Mouse Detective?
Let me talk about my awakening. We're getting there.
Ah.
Now, here's the thing. Keyframe, from the ages of 4 to probably 10, because then they just didn't let me collect them anymore. I've always loved collecting. I collected VHS tapes. I grew up right before DVDs became big. So I actually my family had a bunch of VHS tapes, and I had enough VHS tapes that I can go from one corner of the house to the other and just kind of stack them like dominoes. And I loved them. And then I got a VHS tape of The Great Mouse Detective and The Rescuers. So I got those 2 movies. Watched The Rescuers. It was okay. Then The Great Mouse Detective. Basil. I don't know. Just something about... Shut up! Shut up, you gadget trash!
Gadget trash!
Sorry, but this overall and those big mouse ears.
No. So, like, I don't know. Just as soon as... like, all the other characters were, like, cute and everything. But then Basil came on screen, and he was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I gotta do this. Check the bullet, played violin. And I was just like, I can't stop watching this character. And I would rewind scenes just to watch how he talked. I wore out part of the tape, specifically the let's set it off now scene, because just his grin and his smile, and I was like, ooh, I love him. I think that's just what was like, okay, I really like anthropomorphic characters. Basil was my first, was tied at the same time with my first crush. We're not going to talk about my other crush, but
oh, well, you can't tease us like that. You can't.
I have a feeling my fans will guess what my first animated crush was, but Basil was around the same time.
Oh wait, I know him.
Yeah, shut up. I was like,
it's not furry, so it's unrelated.
Yeah, I was like 5, and then as I just grew older and older, like I would watch Animaniacs and I would watch a bunch of shows, and I just really loved the characters. And then, I mean, originally my first one was a dog. It was supposed to be a beagle and everything, but I don't know. I was watching Animaniacs when I was like 13. I mean, I watched it beforehand, but I was watching it when I was 13 and saw the Minerva mink shorts, and I was like, that's who I want to be. I like her. And it was a crime that she only had 2 shorts. But yeah, and I've been in these drawers that I have here that's behind the camera. I actually have some of the original sketches of what Tempra was going to look like. So actually, Ambris, why don't you talk about why you have a shark girl, why you like shark girls so much while I find that.
Why I like shark? Okay, well, the tricky part about that is that I am not 100% sure why. It's sort of just like for the longest time, like I've been all the time that I've been a furry, I've been about wolves. I identify with wolves. Been a wolf kind of thing, and I always liked wolf girls, as kind of, like my first original stories was about a wolf. But something happened in the last few years, and maybe it's just something, I stumble across shark girl pictures on the internet, and I'm just like, oh, that's pretty cool. I don't know. I think in general, I just have a thing for predators. There's something about the sort of like the sleekness and the power and the sharp teeth. And I don't know what, but it just like, I don't know. It tickles my fancy, So, and predators and sharks are just kind of, condensed predator.
They're
just
built
add
for
water.
Form and function.
Say what?
They're built for form and function.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So,
some of the original sketches. Oh no. Oh wow.
No. But maybe while you're still looking, we can move on to the next question, which is specifically for you artsy guys. So I will not have anything to contribute to this one except reading it. From Enigma Prince, I want to become an artist and share my beauty and creativity with my friends and those who need it. What personal advice do you have for me to venture into this endeavor? I literally can't give any advice because I suck as an artist. Keyframe can confirm I tried desperately and failed.
No, it's not that you failed, it's that you stopped trying.
Yes, this is failing.
When I first started, I sucked as an artist.
I assume so. But yeah, what advice would you give somebody with more discipline and endurance than myself?
Yeah, that goes into my advice. Never stop trying. You're going to suck for a long fucking time. I will tell you for a fact, I never started being satisfied, like I can look at my art and be proud of it, until like last year. I hated my art. I mean, I love drawing it. I love the process of doing it. I like that other people liked it. But me, myself, I never felt satisfied. You're going to be in a constant state of never being satisfied because you're always going to be like, something can be better, something is off. And always there is. Even fucking the greatest painters of all time always had something off and something they could have done better when you actually look at stuff with a more critical eye.
Da Vinci is on record of hating his own art sometimes, so you know that tells you something. But so you know, it's that drive that it's that sense that your work is not perfect, that you need to, that you could improve it. If you always think you can improve on your art, then you will continue to improve on your art. That's what it comes down to. The moment that you think your art is perfect, you're sunk as an artist. But at the same time, it can be really frustrating and maddening to never feel 100% satisfied, or to rarely. There might be brief times where you're like, oh, this picture is perfect, I love it. But 3 months from then, you're gonna like, wait, no, but this thing's wrong. And so it's important to. You can't give up. You always have to. And if you have like a good motivation where you want to put your heart out on the paper and like really show something to people, that's a good motivation. That's a good motivation to back you up to. So when it gets hard and you want to feel tempted to give up on it, that's the thing to hold on to and remember to keep you going, because developing and being an artist, being a lot of skills applies to a lot of skills, but learning to be an artist is probably one of the hardest things in the world. I would honestly say it is difficult. Probably the only thing harder is being a writer is what I would say.
Yeah. Let me and as the two other tiny tidbits. One, this is just a way to improve yourself. You don't have to find your own style quickly. It is. Yeah. I will tell you how I got my start of drawing to where it wanted me to go. When I was a little kid, like 5 years old, when I was watching these VHS tapes and when YouTube was just 2006 and stuff becoming a thing, and they would have like just re-uploads of anime and Disney and Hanna-Barbera and stuff, I would just put paper against the screen and trace it. And I showed that to my dad, and my dad was like, why don't you just try drawing what you see? And I have 2 spiral notebooks somewhere in this house of old drawings of me drawing what I saw on screen of freehanding. All of them suck, but that's how I started. And it makes you understand styles, and that's how you implement stuff into your own when you're like, okay, now I want to draw something from my mind. So keep doing that. That is one of the best advices I can give you. Emulate, and eventually you'll have your own thing. There's nothing wrong with taking reference and looking at stuff. And the fact that there is a stigma about that stuff really cheeses my onions. The other tidbit that I would give, just so you know, don't be afraid to doodle. Don't be afraid to make crappy sketches. Don't be afraid to draw stuff that looks like shit. Because I can tell you, I have looking around my room, I have 10 sketchbooks, and 90% of them are just filled with little random doodles and thumbnails and layouts, little drawings that have no sense of anatomy or character or on modelness. Because if you can get an idea down on paper and get the emotion down on paper, it helps you. It helps turn something on. It's better than being like every piece I have to do has to be a finished, completed, fully rendered, beautiful piece.
Unfortunately, that's my problem. I struggle with that today, where I feel like I can't. I have such a hard time just being spontaneous and just doing art, like just doodling randomly. I get crushed if I try to draw something and it's not perfect. And I work really hard on trying to perfect everything. And frankly, it has made me stagnate as an artist, and it's something it's kind of that's kind of my hurdle I'm getting over at this point in my artistic growth, is just learning how to be spontaneous and to just not care and just to put stuff on the paper and go with it. So, we all learn different things at different rates, and so that's also something important to remember if you're first breaking into art.
What's your advice, Max, as a
failing artist?
a failing artist?
Don't be me. Don't fail like me. Because I have a little bit of the same problem as Ambris, that I have the desire for perfectionism, but with the difference that I don't have many years of training. So I don't even come close to perfectionism, so every single attempt is super frustrating for me, which is why I can't. So my advice would be overcome this very first hurdle, because I assume that this is one of the harder ones to overcome, to get over this first super big frustration because you suck so extreme bad in the beginning. And beyond that, I'm not qualified to give advice, but I'm qualified to read the next question, which is kind of related, by Death Alchemist again. What is your Achilles heel as an artist? Not sure how to interpret this question, but
the thing that you probably hate the most drawing or feel like
maybe.
Yeah.
I hate feet. Fuck feet. I don't like feet.
Yeah.
For you, Ambris?
Geez. I mean, yeah, I struggle with hands and feet and faces even too. All the parts that are detailed and precise, and especially because I started out drawing. I have a really struggle with proportions and like head to body proportions and everything relating around the head. Because, like I said, I started out like I'm a furry because of Crystal, and one of the things I started drawing early on was literally copying the art from like the Star Fox Adventures book, and not book, but like the manual and the box cover or whatever it is, and that starting out that way continues to inform my art style today, even when I don't want it to. Like, because those characters, they have kind of like odd proportions, whatever it is. That's just the way it. Yeah, it was just a bit different. But like now, when I want to do more human-like proportion, like more actual realistic human proportions, or just a different type of furry proportion or whatever, it's like I keep drawing these heads in the same way that I drew them when I was 14, and from this box, and I wish I didn't. And so that's what's really causes me a lot of grief today. Just trying to get a grasp of force. I need to go back to basics and just do realistic studies of anatomy and stuff like that, so I can kind of unlearn that habit. Also, other than that, kind of what I was saying before, just trying to learn to be spontaneous and not being precise. That's also my Achilles. Words are hard. Achilles heel.
Also, I have a short one for Keyframe.
Oh boy.
From Enigma again.
Oh boy.
Key, what are your thoughts on art and money having some kind of stupidity and ridiculous factor to it? How do you see art and money as a subjective matter? I wonder what he's referencing there.
Let me tell you. I mean, I helped edit and contribute to those scripts, so
it's true.
My opinion.
She's kind of I guess. Then again, even if your opinion would be completely contrary to mine, you probably pointed out, but at the end, it's still.
Oh no! The thing is that if my opinion, there have been the rare occasions where you and I opinions differ, but they usually contribute to scripts in the ways that I have a discussion about you and with it, and you can put those counterpoints into the video so you can put what your points to the counterpoints would be.
Oh yeah,
So.
Comic dubs. This was the one where you gave me a long rant why comic dubs actually are a good thing.
I don't even like comic dubs. I was just listing the reasons why people do them. I was being devil's advocate. But, like, no, I guess, no, I mean, I agree with both of his videos. Money, as someone who, especially the people that keep saying that he's a communist, as someone who's in Mother Russia,
that's how communists walk. We all know that.
Totally.
Yeah, no, they do the little thing with the hats, and all Russians are just bears on unicycles.
Of course, don't you know that this is common sense?
Yeah, but no, as someone who's lived below the poverty line for most of her life, who only started now getting financial stability with her own work, who had to do food stamps, welfare, and shit, I fully agree that money is fucking stupid. And especially the people that hoard it, the 1% that do this corruption, because there are people that actually need these kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
So I fully agree with that. And with the objectivity in art, it's a weird thing to say. I see why people are disagreeing in the video, but I'm personally, yes, there are objective matters in art.
You heard it from the artist's mouth.
And this is a person, and the thing is, objective and subjective in art, they are parallel and intersect. They're perpendicular in the way that, like, you can still like something even if objectively it's not as great in certain aspects as another. If you like abstract stuff, Picasso is going to be way more interesting to look at objectively as an abstract piece than a fucking church chapel portrait. Like, there's a lot of different qualifiers and factors, and that's why art is a web of things and why it's such a highly discussed topic. But with the points he brought up in the video, I agree with. So there you go, Enigma. You really think that I'm going to go against the person that kind of pays for things from me? So,
I hope that you're not just agreeing with me because I do pay you for the one or another commission.
I mean, anyway, next question.
Wow, nice. Yeah, I mean, we are already a little bit over time, but I have two more questions I would like to ask both of them. One final one from Enigma Prince, as always, covering our back with a lot of questions. To everyone in the chat, ABD, that's on the show.
I think he meant and.
And that's on the show, sorry. What important factors do you tend to look for in friends, and would you lessen or increase your factors at any point during the search? I have the vague feeling that there might be some current background to this question. Nevertheless, it's a good question. I would say first and foremost, what you should look into in friends is the obvious thing, like an honest connection. Like you should not go for friends for I mean, to start with the saddest reason, like, don't just get friends because you feel alone. This is I don't see healthy friendships coming out of connecting to people just to not be alone. There should be more. Like, you should connect on some level, any level. Like those two people up there who connect because they both can talk about art while all their other friends don't understand them.
I reflexively waved at that point in time, and I didn't realize no one could see me.
You really need to return at some point with a webcam.
Yeah, I will absolutely be getting one soon because I want to do that for live streaming. But go ahead.
Yeah, or the cynicism, this one in the top corner, and me share. You need to have something to connect, and even let's go there. Even if it is just something as superficial as the enjoyment for a certain TV show about colorful quattro pedals, whatever.
Okay, I don't have anything over. Oh wait, this is a Doctor Who piece. Yeah.
Close enough.
No, but it should be, and hopefully from this very superficial starting point, still for a deeper and more meaningful friendship, you should look for something that is connects you on a deeper level, not just a superficial. Hey, I like this. Oh, I like this too. Let's be friends.
Best friend.
Hey, BFF. Sorry.
Yeah. My thing is, at least my two aspects is, well, goes into his is just having a connection. That's really hard. It's weird to say as someone who's mainly known for being good at networking. When it comes to having good personal friendships, more than are just very good acquaintances or friends, like friends. Yeah, he's my friend. Like an actual like best friendship or just a close friend. I barely have any close friends. Because of things in my past, I have terrible issues with trust. So connection is really important. A conversation. If I can't hold a conversation with you, if I can't have something to talk about, I'm going to get bored. Like me and Ambris can connect over art. Me and Lauren, my friend for a decade, we've connected over so many things. We've introduced each other to so many things. The first long talking conversation I had with this guy, which was like our first call, was 6 hours long.
Wrong direction.
Yes, and even now, like 3 years, almost 4 years later, we still have the whole reason we have this podcast is because we can have long conversations. We can jump from topic to topic, and it's not stale. Like we don't talk about the same thing over and over. We repeat things because we have the memories of lemmings, but we can go from politics to movies to business to all this stuff, and that's what I like. That's what I look for in a friend, and especially since I've been more closed off now, it's heightened a lot more that I need to be comfortable around you. If I feel like you're using me for something, that I feel like I am just a ring in a ladder, you're going to get dropped immediately.
Ambris,
funny you should say that.
You were using me this whole time, man. I thought you were something special.
No, for real, I don't want to like get dark or depressing, but I recently had kind of a fallout with a friend. Because honestly, I had never really understood the term fake friend until this fallout, and I'm like kind of still a bit frustrated by it, but and I think that's what kind of comes down to. You want to find someone who you can genuinely connect with and trust, and to be there for you. And sometimes you just can't tell. Like I met this girl years ago when I was kind of in a low point of my life, and she was kind of in a low point of her life, and we sort of just kind of hung out and got together over, I don't know what, we were just very casual friends. We were both into MLP at the time a lot, and we just hung out a lot. But as time went on, like basically she was in a bad relationship. I didn't know about the details at the time, but after the fact, we actually we're gonna hook up for a relationship. Very briefly, we ended up canceling that because of distance issues. But I thought, okay, well we can still be like really close, cool friends. But like over time, she like met this other guy that was local who was like super rich and basically kind of just gave her everything that she needed and wanted, and she just didn't have to work for anything. Honestly, it like her life just kind of accelerated. She went from like poverty to like high class, like or upper middle class, and suddenly something happened, something clicked, and I wasn't worth her time. Wow. She would not talk. She would barely talk to me over chat.
Man.
Yeah, I know. I mean, she didn't like do any like I would message her, and she would kind of talk to me a bit, but I always got the impression like I was inconveniencing her, so I just like, okay, what's the issue? I thought we were friends. And as time, like for 2 years, she barely talked to me, and I was, and we met we used to always meet at FurCon, and then like the last 2 years where after she met this guy, it's sort of like, hey, we don't get to see each other often because we live on opposite sides of the country. You want to go and get, lunch at, FurCon and have, have fun. And she kept kind of delaying, blowing me off, saying, well, no, I have these plans and I have those plans. And like, and after like 2 years of this, I'm like, at first I thought she was just busy, but like after 2 years, I'm like, you know what? I'm just kind of an inconvenience to you, aren't I? And I told her, I basically just kind of, I kind of talked to about her about that, and it kind of got into problems from there, and I don't want to go into the details, but suffice to say, I'm not particularly friends with her. I'm not friends with her anymore because apparently I'm just not worth her time. She could not, take 30 minutes away from hanging out with her boyfriend, to see what, I thought we were good friends, but whatever. So my whole point is that you got to make sure that you actually, I guess you can't tell. Sometimes people are just going to bite you, and you just, it's unfortunate, but at the same time, I don't want to become like jaded or bitter about it, or like not trust other people, because that's just not going to happen very often, or at least I sure hope not. But it kind of put into context with just the whole idea of old friends. I have one friend from way back in middle school, and he is my oldest friend. He's the only friend I had that I met like before, like I had a presence on the internet before MLP was a thing, and he's still like, this guy would jump in a knife fight for me. So he is probably my closest friend ever, and I have to appreciate that. So I say I put a lot of emphasis on trust these days, but even more than just compatibility, like, yeah, you got to be able to hang out with someone and talk to them and be able to but I think more important than even that is just someone who doesn't judge you for who you are and what your interests, even if they don't have the same interests, if they're willing to talk to you and like engage in those interests with you, and they don't judge you or everything, and they're going to be there for you. That's the best friend that you could ever ask for. Someone who just trust,
Mm.
Yeah, sorry, I'm sorry for dominating your talk, going on
please,
for 20 minutes.
One question, follow-up question to this. Would you now, without going into details, obviously, in hindsight, could you say that there were some red flags about the relationship with your friend girl?
Honestly, in retrospect, things that I interpreted as other stuff, like, okay, when I first tried to be friends with her, I thought she was just kind of a quiet person, and she like just what was guarded, like, because I couldn't really get a sense of the deeper parts of her personality. I just thought she was quiet and reserved. I thought as we got to be good friends, I'd get to know her more. But even as I did, I never quite got more of that. And in retrospect, I think she was actually kind of just a shallow person. I don't think there was actually a whole lot to it, because she kind of dissed me when I was boring to her now. I think she was probably really shallow, so I should have. Yeah, but you can't. You can't really tell that for sure. That hindsight's 20/20.
I know.
Yeah.
No, I was kind of asking because I'm not sure. I have the suspicion that Enigma is asking about a certain friend problem we had as well recently, and I was wondering, like, if you have in hindsight advice, because the question was like, how would you are there certain things you look into friends, and would you lessen or increase certain factors? Maybe some other advice I could give is like, even so people are your friends, still have don't let the friendship overshadow your interpretation of them. That your still keep an eye on what they do, and it sounds weird to say be critical of your friends, but not in general, obviously. I mean, if you have dorky and silly friends, there will be a lot of stuff you can be critical about. But if you, for example, I know, right?
I know. I was just No, I was just like, you were like, oh, if your friends are dorky and dorky and stuff, and I'm like, I feel like that was a jab towards me.
No, it's also a jab towards me. So but all of our, come on,
Yeah.
look at
Dorky
all.
friends. Hey, dorky friends are the best friends.
I know, right? I mean, look around at our entire closer friend circle of friends. You will not find a single normal person there. Just screw normies, anyways.
I think so and so there it has in the chat has the better word, hold your friends accountable.
Yes.
You know, it's probably a much better way of putting it.
Mm-hmm. That's a good term. And so yeah, just don't turn a blind eye to red flags. That's the thing. You are very tempted when people are your friends and you have a deep connection to them. It's often very tempting to be forgiving and overlooking red flags. And once again, in hindsight, 2020, it's like, oh my God, I should have known. But yeah, hindsight, as you said. So it's probably the best thing to, once again, not be critical about them, but be on the outlook. Be like, yeah, if there are red flags, don't ignore them. Dig in, maybe what you did, like when you eventually went there and confronted your friend and talked to her, like, is it possible that maybe and stuff. If there is a fallout, yeah, it might be ugly, but it's better than continuing.
It's better than going under this pretense that we're still friends when we barely talk over the course of 2 years, and she can't take 30 minutes to just, hey, let's go get lunch, together. Mm-hmm. It really got to the point where I felt like I was inconveniencing her just to talk to her. So I was like, we're clearly not friends anymore. I don't know why you want to pretend that we are.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, to lighten, unless Keyframe, do you want to still offer something? Okay.
No, I would like to go to a happier thing.
That's the thing. I kept.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem. I brought it.
It's okay. I mean, the entire question in and of itself is depressing.
Yeah.
That's why.
Well, I guess on a positive note, kind of relating to that, I say, I kind of reemphasize what I was saying before is don't let bad experiences, affect you. Don't make you afraid to reach out to people, because that's just part of life. And if you don't prepare, if you try to avoid the bad, you're going to also avoid the good. And you just kind of have to put yourself out there. So I don't have hard feelings about the whole thing. I kind of just move on, and I'm glad to be. I'm making more new friends, every day. So, okay, not every day. That's an exaggeration. I'm making new friends every something, just reaching out, and I think, and that's a good thing.
But yeah, I still have one final question to maybe lighten up the mood a little bit, even further. So, by Denim Ninja. Denim Ninja asked, so, how about the Sports Bowl season finale today? Do you think the team will beat the other team? Your thoughts, guys?
I have
the game,
what are your thoughts? Because my thoughts are encapsulated.
Well, Keyframe, stay with us. Well.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay, you got kind of frozen.
Oh no, the Sports Ball season finale is taking up so much bandwidth, it's freezing me.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, the team, I'm totally for the team in this particular context.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of that team, and
not the other team.
Yeah, the guy who throws the ball.
Him.
I'm a fan
totally.
of him. He's got the number on his back. I forget, but he's really good. I've been a big fan of him for years.
Yeah. With you. Totally would have bought a shirt myself, fan shirt, but numbers.
My thoughts on the Sports Ball finale. I put a link in the chat.
My goodness. I'm clicking it.
It's not a long video, and it's Jack's film, so it's good.
Okay, let's put Jack's film on and get an MCD, whatever it's called, on my channel. Sure, why not?
He's not going to DMC it for a podcast.
Yeah, he will. He's a total dick like that.
He's not Paul Logan.
Burn. Okay, let's see what Keyframe has to say about the sports game finale.
Super Bowl, gotta have me my Super Bowl. I just hope the ref is fair. I just hope the ref is fair. Super Bowl, Super Bowl. I'm about to smash this Super Bowl.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
okay, I only have one thing to say about this video.
Yeah.
It was pretty awkward.